Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Finish Awesome Friday. So today we're going to discuss the second layer of awesome when it comes to mindset, and that is effort. So if you remember, over the last couple of weeks we talked about the formula to success. Okay, we talked about results last week, which was the final piece, which is basically your goal setting, what you're trying to actually get out of your training, your lifestyle, your nutrition, and all those other things. Okay, so what result you want, first and foremost, that needs to be set in stone, and we did that through playing with the SMART method. Okay, so next up along the list is obviously we go to E for effort. So in the results pyramid, in the way we look at it, in that 3 layers of awesome, effort is the next important thing. Obviously, if you know what result you want, that should be the most important thing. That should be your base. The next stage is then the amount of effort you put into it. Why you're doing it will more than likely motivate you to then go on to do the next stage. And that's really what we're talking about from there. So obviously we know our goal. We hopefully know our ultimate goal. And that ultimate goal might be something that is going to take 3-5 years to do, or it might be something that we look at yearly. You know, so we might say, this year I want to put 10 kilos on my back squat. So I know that is my ultimate goal this year. So that is a specific goal we've set ourselves. We know how to do it. It's measurable, realistic, all those other things. So then you know that in a year you need to do that. So you know by 6-month marker you should be at about 5 kilos of extra weight on the squat to know that then you'll get that 10 kilo increase by the end of the year. Okay, so that's, you know, again, you can talk about larger numbers, smaller numbers than that, but when we're talking about, you know, using heavier weights, that might be a goal you set yourself. Or like we've talked about before, losing weight, you might think, right, I want to lose 2 stone, so by the end of the year I want to lose 2 stone. So you know then by the 6-month mark you should have lost a stone at least, and you're on your way to hitting your targets, and that's your ultimate goal to work to from there. You could go even bigger than that. Your ultimate goal might be a 5-year plan that's like, you know, you want to, do a marathon in 3 years' time. So you're going to start from your, couch to 5K kind of program and start slowly building up over time to reach distances and times that are going to be able to mean that you can compete at that marathon. Okay, so just a couple of ultimate goal variations you can have. And that ultimate goal doesn't mean that you get there and stop and then that's it, you've reached that. It's just going to build on to the next ultimate goal that you set yourself. And when you've got an ultimate goal, the idea is that when you know what your destination is, you can chip away at it and you know how you're progressing, how you're going through the year. So once you know your ultimate goal, the next thing we've got to think about is that mindset of effort. Why is actually you're going to do it, so that then once you know why you're doing it, you can then start pushing forward towards there. So the first real question you have to ask yourself when it comes to the effort marker is, why are you doing it? Okay, why are you actually exercising? Why are you concentrating on your nutrition? Why are you, taking an interest in this side of lifestyle? Why do you want, more money in your job? Why do you want to work less hours? Understanding the reasons why you want to do it is going to help you understand what your motivations are, so that you can then build towards those results. So it might be pride, it might be a family member, your children, your other half, your mum or dad. There could be someone that you look up to, or you hope that looks up to you and takes you as a sort of a beacon of perfection, and you can actually inspire people and go on and do better things. So pride might be a reason that you're going to do this particular goal. That is one reason you got from there. Confidence in yourself, obviously, you might be from a situation where you've been beaten down a little bit over the years, over the months, and you're feeling low in confidence. Maybe setting this goal is going to make you more confident. It's going to make you feel better within yourself and go forward from there. So think about these things, as I say, as you're going through and you're setting your goals. This is the next stage to think about why you're actually doing it. Okay, start writing these down. If it is a pride thing, then write that down. If it's a confidence thing, write it down. You want to make sure it's there in print. It may be a health reason. Okay, you may have been told by your doctor that you've got an increased risk of diabetes or cancers or lung and heart disease, or you could just be in a situation where you're clinically obese, as they mark it now. Any sort of marker of health or any sort of marker of sort of well-being that you use may be a reason that you're doing this particular task, or you're setting these particular goals. So again, if it is, write that down, because that's an important aspect of what you're going to do and why you're going to do it. It could be to be more attractive. Okay, vanity is a big aspect of the fitness industry, and it's something that I think a lot of the marketing and sort of the way the industry is sort of builds upon. And it's not a bad thing, it's not a negative thing. Many people treat it as a negative thing because they think that, you know, you have to be this way, or, you know, you're worthless basically. But it's not the case. What it is basically saying to yourself that if you feel confidence in yourself, if you feel more attractive, you feel more you know, outgoing, you will try and achieve more in life. You will be more confident in front of people. You know, your vanity may be there, but you're not being so vain that people don't want to know you because you're so into yourself. The goal really is to have that level of confidence and well-being within yourself, though, that you feel good, so you're positive and you can be positive around other people. So don't think of it as a vanity thing. If you want to be more attractive, either to the opposite sex or to you know, someone that you like, or just to yourself, when you look in the mirror and you look at yourself in clothes, you know, that is a goal that you can set yourself, and you should write it down. It shouldn't be something you should be ashamed of, and it shouldn't be something you can think is vain and only vain people will do. Okay, it's a goal to do from there. Okay. Next up, we're going to move on to your obstacles. So now you've set yourself those particular parameters of why you're doing it, whether it be pride, whether it be for medical reasons, whether it be for looks and confidence. The next thing you want to do is then understand what's going to set you back. Okay, and again, write these down as you're going through it. Okay, think about it and actually think about these different areas. So are they going to hold you back? Okay, so when we think about obstacles, we don't want to think of it as something that's going to stop us in our path, but more that it may slow us down and we have to go around it or over it to get to the goal that we're aiming for. Okay, so it may be the family. Okay, you may want, you know, you may have all these other things in your life that are taking your time up, and training is going to get in the way of family time. Okay, it's going to get in the way of seeing your children, seeing your other half, seeing, you know, again, your parents, seeing, you know, uncles and aunts and cousins. It could be anyone in your family. If training is going to get in the way of that, that could become an obstacle. So you've got to start thinking about ways you can get training in and still not miss out on the times with your family and other aspects from there. It could be work. Okay, a lot of people are super busy. They either, you know, are working, you know, 9 until 9, you know, 9 in the morning till 9 at night, or any variations of that. You know, it's not just an 8-hour day anymore. You know, you're starting earlier, you're finishing later. You've got the commute to take into consideration as well. That's a lot of time out of your day getting taken up by this particular aspect of life. So again, you know, more than likely what will happen is you'll be at work and then something might go wrong, so you don't have to work overtime to get things done. You know, it may push into your time that you would normally then go to the gym after work, so you then obviously have to skip that because you don't want to miss that family time. So again, it could be an obstacle that gets in the way. If work is one of your obstacles, it's one of those things, write it down and write down scenarios that you know come up regularly that have been obstacles in the past or could be obstacles in the future. Again, socialising, being with friends, it's much like the family thing. So obviously you want to be able to go outside, you want to be able to see your friends, you want to be able to have a couple of drinks, you want to be able to enjoy the social time because that allows you to unwind and obviously allows you to forget sometimes about the stresses of work, the stresses of life, the stresses of family. So it's important to make sure you fit those into there as well. But understand, again, they are obstacles towards your goal. Your goal is fitness and health. So you have to understand where they've come into play before, whether it be impromptu nights out with your friends, whether it be particular social events that you go to, team events or anything else like that. Write them down. Understand that they are obstacles towards that goal that you've set yourself, and you need to identify them so that you can then work a way around them. Okay, it may be the weather. Okay, so snowing today, it's been snowing the last couple of days. The weather could be a reason that you are not going to the gym, which for me is one of the worst kind of excuses you can come up with. You know, if it's cold or if it's too hot or if it's too wet or it's too dry, whatever may be the reason that people will come up with, they'll come up with this reason in their head. So again, write it down. If you've come up with excuses before, if you've missed it because there was a bit of snow on the ground, or you've missed it because it's a bit cold outside and the wind's blowing, or you missed it because, you know, it's just too wet and dark out there, then these are reasons to write down, because as you know, for me, annoying as they are as excuses, they are there. And when you get into your nice warm house after being in the cold weather from the commute back from work, it's very hard to pick yourself up to get back out again. Or when you wake up at 5 in the morning and you hear the wind howling and the rain battering against the window, and you know you've got to go out and do your, you know, half-hour run, or go get up and get changed and go to the gym and do your workout. It gets very difficult, and there's little voices in your head will start telling you to stop and telling you to just roll over and have that little lie and do it next week. But that is an obstacle that is stopping you from reaching your ultimate goal, or inevitably prolonging you to get to your ultimate goal, identify it, write it down. You know then you're in the right path. It could be the holidays. So you think about sort of the social holidays we have. You know, we've just had Christmas and New Year, and obviously, you know, in America they also have Thanksgiving around that time as well. In England we also have, you know, bonfire nights and Halloween and Easter's coming up around the corner. You know, so these sort of holidays, festive holidays we have, obviously can derail us because again we're going to be with the family. You could put this in the family bracket from there, or it could just derail us nutritionally because obviously they're so laden with food, chocolate, and all these other goodies and alcohol and stuff like that. So understand which holidays generally get in your way and try and figure a plan around it, okay? It could be the fitness training system that you're actually using. It could be something that you don't actually enjoy doing. So for example, I love throwing weights around, doing burpees, pushing myself to my limit and making myself feel sick most of the time I can get a chance to during the week. But that may not be the sort of style of training that you enjoy. You may enjoy something else. So if you enjoy something else, then understand that, you know, maybe, you know, just because I tell you that this is the best way to get fit, to get stronger, to be more efficient, to, you know, be better conditioned, you may not believe me or want to do those sort of things. So if you don't, try and find things that you can do consistently, okay? This is the important aspect of it. You should be doing some sort of resistance training. You should be doing some sort of conditioning training. You should be doing some sort of mobility. That is, you know, without question, I will not be knocked off of that path. But how you do it is up to you, okay? If you don't want to go in and do a massive, you know, heavy deadlift and instead you like to go to body pump, okay, that's your choice. Go do it. It's at least something that you're doing that's going to build a little bit of lean tissue, build a bit of conditioning, and build, you know, some form of confidence from there. Whether I think it's beneficial compared to, say, a bit of strength training that you could do instead at half the time and at half the expense of, you know, burning yourself out, then, you know, so be it. But that is what you need to do. You need to find those things that you can push yourself in. You have to be pushing yourself. And if you can, then do those instead, okay? So the training system could be a problem. And it could be yourself, obviously that whole aspect around it. Again, write these things down. Are you just coming up with excuses all the time for things that you don't do? Because you, again, maybe like the last thing, you just don't enjoy those aspects of it, okay? You don't enjoy the exercise, you don't enjoy the nutrition. Then it's something you have to change in yourself, because as much as you dislike exercise or physical activity, it has to be done because we are so sedentary now. We sit down at work all day. We sit down in our cars. We sit down at home watching TV. We sit, and we sit. And that's all we do. So we need to be doing physical things every single day if we can. You know, 2 or 3 times a week is great. But if you can just move every day, whether it just be a bit of mobility, a bit of stretching, doesn't matter. Get moving, start doing some things. If you're the problem, then solve it. Make that plan, okay? So once you've got all these things written down, you know your result, you've written down your SMART goals, okay? You've now gone through and worked through the cases of your obstacles. You've worked out why you're doing it, okay? Whether it be for the health reasons, whether it be for the pride reasons, whatever it be. Now you've got all that written down, you can say, right, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is my plan. I can see all these obstacles now. Let's start putting things together to make sure that if this comes up, I do this. If this comes up, I can do this. You know, if I miss a session because of work, I'll do it the morning after, you know, and set that in stone and actually do it and take action from there. We'll talk about that in 2 seconds, but make that plan so that when it comes up, you know exactly what you're going to do. Build that positive network around you. It could be your friends and family. It could be your gym buddies that you go and train with down the gym. It could be a coach, or it could be someone that you talk to on a regular basis that can help you through these things, okay? You need that positive reinforcement. You need people to help you out. And maybe you need people to train with. And if they fall off the wagon, you can then push them and be that positive force for each other so you can get the results you want to. Don't quit, okay? Don't give up. It's that determination, that constant mental sort of battlefield you're going to go through. You've got to keep chipping away and keep going. And some days you'll feel like you're behind, other days you'll feel like you're in front. You know, it's just the way it goes. You never really feel like, oh, I think I'm on the right path, you know, this is okay. It's going to be one extreme or the other all the time. You're always going to be going on these up and down waves through it, but just keep going, keep pushing, and keep being motivated from there. If it's a case of, as I say, a training style or what you do, you've got to make those changes so that you keep that motivation, you keep that drive, because that is the important aspect of it. Without that, you're not going to get the result you want. And once you get that plan written down and you understand all those different aspects, actually start taking some action on it. Don't be the person that just sits there planning all the time. Be the person that starts doing, okay? Even if it's just a simple case that you've just written down your goals and you haven't thought about all this other aspects, just trying to get things done and trying to hit that goal will be enough to start with. And then you can start thinking more and more about what is stopping you reaching that goal in the long run. Okay, guys? Hope you enjoyed that aspect. So as I say, that is the effort stroke motivational side of things. So, you know, really what you're thinking about when you think about effort is what is going to stop you reaching your goals. How do you get around it? It's not so much a rah-rah thing. You know, I don't have to stand here with, you know, pom-poms and cheer you along. You know, it helps getting into those environments. As I say, that training aspect is important. If you like training in a group, you like training in that you know, that sort of environment where people are all together and there's camaraderie, do it. If you can train by yourself though and you prefer doing it that way, do it. Just find a way to do things and get it done and start pushing forward, guys. I hope you enjoyed that part, guys. That is the second layer. Next week, we'll go over the third and final layer of the mindset, and then I'll introduce you to some new things that we're going to start doing over the next couple of weeks and getting you guys involved in a couple of projects that I've got coming up that are going to be quite exciting going into the summer and going into the new year for Peak Performance. Have a great weekend, guys. Just be awesome. Any questions, chuck them in at the bottom. If not, I'll see you later. Catch you later, guys.